Hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel, Savage Reads. As you can tell, I am wearing a Savage shirt. No, I didn't buy it just for this channel. This was my family reunion shirt, but it goes so great on the channel. It's my new channel shirt. Welcome to Savage Reads. I have the t-shirt and everything. So I have read some interesting books in the past little while. Normally at this point, I would give you a crafting update, but I have been on vacation, so I haven't started a new craft. But I have a new idea. I am going to make an embroidered periodic table of elements for my father, who is a chemist. So that is going to be the next project, and I will show you my progress probably on the next video. But let's go ahead and jump into some of the books that I have read in the past month. So the first book that I want to talk about is The Perilous Gard by Elizabeth Marie Pope. And this I picked up in my book haul from the US when I got to take home a lot of childhood favorites. So I love that I own this now. I will review it, but you do have to remember that I loved this book as a kid, so I might be a little bit biased here. So this says, in 1558, while exiled by Queen Mary Tudor to a remote castle known as Perilous Gard, young Kate Sutton becomes involved in a series of mysterious events that lead her to an underground world peopled by fairy folk, whose customs are even older than the Druids and include human sacrifice. If you know a lot about the Tudors, I would be interested to know how this holds up historically. It's not necessarily focused on that historical aspect. It's very much set in the time, and the framing is within the time, but it is this magical fairy world. And I remember being a kid and just that feeling of being trapped in an underground magical fairy world really sticking with me. But as an adult, it still had some of that. I also think there was a lot more drudgery than I remember as a kid. I remember it being magical instead of, oh, she's enslaved in this underground fairy world. But there is a sweet romance in this, and there's something about the ending that I won't say because of spoilers, but I found it to be really clever as a kid, and then as an adult, I thought it was pretty well done. I also liked that this book did have a few illustrations in it. Very black and white, mysterious, an underground fairy hall. Of course, that seeped into my subconscious as a child, where all my dreams kind of looked like this. This was fun. I had a great time going down memory lane. I didn't manage to fit the other one by this author, The Sherwood Ring, into my suitcase, so I might have to try to read that one again at some point. I also did read it relaxing at a cabin in the woods, so pleasant circumstances all the way around with this one. I had a great time. So Tiffany at Towering TBR recommended the book Dreadful by Caitlin Rozakis, and I was hooked from the first moment because of how it's set up. There's a man who doesn't know who he is, but realizes he's an evil sorcerer, and he has to go along with things to try to figure out how to get out of whatever situation he's put himself in. And so there is a kidnapped princess, and there's this evil wizard who is bumbling through things, trying to pretend to be this evil wizard so that more powerful evil wizards don't come and kill him. But he's in over his head in some evil sorcerer's plan that he cannot remember. So I was very much hooked on this at the beginning, and it was fun and lighthearted and humorous. It's a very fun book. I really enjoyed my time with it. I think by the end, it lost some of the spark that caught me in the beginning, which is a bummer because I think the beginning was really strong, and then by the end, it was good, but it wasn't quite as punchy as right at the beginning. But overall, I really enjoyed it. It's not going to give you anything super in-depth. I didn't feel like I learned something new and really empathized and learned a new character or anything. No, it just was fun, humorous, and a quick read. And so overall, I really enjoyed this. It was a good time. So I had a comment recommending the book A Map to Paradise by Susan Messner. This is following 3 different women in 1956 in Malibu, and one of them is a blacklisted Hollywood star. The other one is a caretaker to her agoraphobic brother-in-law. And then there is the housekeeper, Ava, who is is an immigrant from Europe. And so you get the backstories of these three women, what brings them together, and the secrets that are going on, and how they get through this. I liked the bit of mystery behind things, but for the life of me, I couldn't quite figure out why these women decided they all needed to align on everything. There were a lot of times in this book that I was just confused as to why they were talking to each other at all. There were enough secrets and everything going on. They shouldn't have been talking about this. And I don't understand why they made this whole pact and they had each other's backs when I couldn't really see what the necessity or the glue was that was holding them together. And the book really tries to say, oh, it was just kind of their empathy, they cared about each other, and that's what kept them together. I thought that based on the difficult circumstances that each of these three women were in, they really should have been a little more guarded. I also wasn't sure why I was supposed to sympathize all that much with June, the sister-in-law to the agoraphobic writer. I feel like she was one of those characters that if you had gender swapped it as a man, you would think that she was a real creep. And she was kind of a creep in a lot of ways. There were some things that I just found very off-putting about her. And so I enjoyed the twists and turns of this book. It is a highly readable book, and I did enjoy it for the most part. I just didn't get that central idea of why these three women were so close. And even if they were so close and they went through the events in this book, at the end, I didn't see why they were all still friends. I wouldn't have kept in contact with those people. Now, I think the Hollywood starlet and Ava, sure, yeah, they could be friends, they could talk. There's nothing wrong with those two. I just thought there was a lot going on with June that maybe we should have been a little more wary about. That's all I'm going to talk about for this video. I typically review 4 books for a video, but I am worried that I'm going to start forgetting some of these books, so I wanted to make sure that I talked about all of them, and now I am all caught up. So I will probably be back in a week or so with more books that I have read, and if you have any thoughts on these, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all on the next one.